Okay, how many people here like change? Hands up. Hands up who's telling fibs. Some people like change, some people absolutely hate change. Yeah? And it doesn't mean that the people who like change are any better than the people who hate change. We're all just different people, and we've got a different outlook on life. And even though I like change, as my glamorous assistant here, who happens to be my wife, will tell you, we've just recently moved house, and it was one of the most stressful things that I think both of us have ever gone through in our entire lives. And the reason it happens is when you're a manager or the boss, you go through all this because you're working out the plans and you're thinking strategically. You go through all this and you are here and then you're all enthusiastic, and like today we say to everybody, right, we're going to change, we're going to do this fantastic stuff, and you're back here thinking, hang on a minute, this isn't going to happen. What are you on about? Yeah? So you start saying these things. We then, as the bosses, get really, they're negative. What's the matter with them? Yeah? Get really, really upset with it. But it's only natural. So as the bosses, we need to understand this. And somebody here gave a fantastic answer earlier on and said, you need to be given information. So when we're thinking of change, we need to bring you with us. And you've got to be prepared to come with us as well. Okay? So the other thing then is, I thought I'd share with you just a little bit. You're not bored yet, you? No. Good. The other thing I thought I'd share with you today is how different people react to change. How different people, or why some people will accept change quicker than others. Okay? So within a group of people, within a population of people, 2.5%, a very small minority of people, will be innovators. Those are the people who come up with the ideas. They're the people who then will be enthusiastic about change because it's their idea at the end of the day. The next group of people then are called the early adopters. They're the people who like change. They like new ideas and like new things. When I asked earlier on who enjoys change, probably about 15% of you put your hands up. Yeah? So these are the people that will adopt change very, very easily. Then we come to the majority of people. We've got, in the majority of people, we've got the early majority. These are people who are prepared to accept change, 34%. So a third of you today are prepared to accept change as long as you feel that change is worthwhile and that what is being talked about makes sense. Yeah? If it does, you'll accept it. Okay, so those are the early majority. The next lot are called the late majority. And those are the people who then see all these other people doing these wonderful things and think, perhaps I better give this a go as well, or I'm going to be left behind. So that's the late majority. And the last lot, which I'm sure there's nobody here amongst this group, are called the laggards. Those are the people who will never ever change. Doesn't matter what you do, they'll never ever change. They've done it this way, they're going to carry on doing it this way. To give you a little bit of example, a little anecdote here. My first job in selling was selling Apple II computers. Now you know Apple, don't you? Yeah, you've probably got a phone or something, probably sometime or other you've had something that's, or you've heard about them, yeah? Apple is now the biggest company in the world. But when I started selling for Apple, I was selling Apple II computers, they'd only just started. The year before, the inventor, Steve Jobs and his buddy Steve Wozniak, were making Apples in their garage. And then they launched the Apple II, which was their first commercial product. I then got a job selling Apple II computers, and they gave me a brand new white Ford Capri. Wow, what? I thought I was the dogs, you know what. A Ford Capri. Yeah, marvellous. Yeah. So, most uncomfortable car. Anybody ever had a Ford Capri? No, most uncomfortable car. Don't bother. If you ever don't bother getting it, second hand. Yeah. So I was driving up and down the valleys, trying to sell this brand spanking new invention. So he was the innovator, I was the early adopter. I could see the future, and I was driving up and down the valleys, like I said, all the way from Newport, all the way up to the People's Republic of Merthyr Tydfil. You know what that is? Yeah. So that was my job, to go up there and sell these computers. Altogether, there were between 5 and 6 million Apple II computers sold. And I sold 70. Okay? And I was looking for this early majority, those people who were prepared to give it a go. Yeah? Now these people were prepared to give it a go, but what they wanted was to make sure that this product worked. Yeah? So I had to learn how to demonstrate to them that the product worked. So I spent a bit of time learning that. And then also they wanted support. So the people before who said about information, I had to give these people information, and then afterwards I had to regularly communicate with them, and I had to give support. So the computers at that time used to cost a lot of money because an awful lot of time was spent in supporting them. So once these early majority now, so nearly half the population now has got a computer. Once they got this, what did the late majority think? I want one of them as well, yeah. So they come up and they decided that they would have Apple II computers as well. And now people now would not be without computers. We carry them around with us now in our pockets, or strapped, you know, for the real flash people, strapped to our belt, yeah? like a 6-shooter, yeah. Yeah. We've all got them now, except for the laggards. We're still writing away there with their quill pens, saying, what's a computer? The change is painful, okay? So the skills needed to take it out were very similar to what you said before, and very similar to what's been said today. Communication skills. Communication skills, what does communicate, anybody, we've had see if you were listening earlier on now, what is communication, what is it? What's it made up of? Listening as well. What's that, sorry? Transmit. Oh, I look, that's posh, you're showing off again. There you go, show you, run of applause that man. How do you transmit? Speak. What do you use when you speak in? Words. Yeah. What else? Body language. What else? Volume, voice tone. Yeah. So that's what you use. You have to communicate. Yeah. So well, I've come to the end of my little talk now, and now it's going to be all action now for the rest of the morning. Yeah. We're going to do. Oh, I got a quarter of an hour to go. What can I talk about then? We're going to do a competition, yeah? Called Murder at Glasstap Grange. Yeah? Yeah. We're going to give out stuff to you. So the things I'm going to talk about there, my glamorous assistant there will hand out the stuff. If I time it right, it'll be when you get in the coffee, yeah? But what you're going to get a floor. Hands up who's played Cluedo. Hands up who haven't played Cluedo. Hands up who's not putting their hands up. Okay, for those of you who play Cluedo, it's nothing like it really. Other than the fact you've got to solve a murder, okay? And in order to do that, you can get an murder story and a floor plan to the Grange. Now earlier on you saw me putting out all these little props. There was a good reason for that, I'll explain later. You need to identify the person who's been murdered. You need to identify the murderer. You need to identify what the incriminating evidence is. Candlestick, you know, what was it? Candlestick, what else is it? Lead pipe? Yeah, well it's none of them. Yeah, but the incriminating evidence, the motive, and the chain of events leading up to the murder. That's what you've got to identify, yeah? Now we've got teams. Team 1 is Team Poirot. Team one. Okay? Team Poirot, are you in the right? Are you in the right group?
Yeah.
Your name on our list? Excellent. The next team is Team Prestock. Yeah, right. You right teams. Yeah. That's the gruesome team. The Joker. Okay. Essentially, you should have, you will have, handed out to you when the coffee is coming on. Instructions on how to play the game, a floor, like I said, a floor plan, character cards, blue tack, flip chart paper and pens, because one of you, or as a team, you're going to give a presentation back at the end as well. Isn't that fun?
So you're going to find me on the coffee doing
Excellent stuff, yeah. That's live. That's live. Oh, look at this. Good time there. I do that. And you have some blank paper in order to make some notes. But you've already got that on your table because the very good year and the money's no expense. You've got paper and pens. So you'll have, so when you get your story, you'll have individually read those. It's very important to read them carefully, make some notes, yeah? Do your best, because every single one of you will contribute to winning the prize, yeah? So you need to read it yourself. They're working together as a team. You will then have 75 minutes. Sounds like a long time, doesn't it? But it's a hard exercise. So you've got 75 minutes to agree as a team. Who murdered whom? The incriminating evidence, the motive, the chain of events leading to the murder, and at the end of the 105 minutes, each team will give a 5-minute presentation. And the winner will be decided by who gets closest to who's murdered, who did it, the incriminating evidence, the motive, the chain of events leading up to the murder, and then my panel of judges here will be coming around having a look, just surreptitiously, in other words, they blend into the background. They'll be having a look at how you're working together as a team. So it's your chance now to show what a fantastic team players you all are. Yeah? So, I think it's ready. A bit early, but whilst Sonia is handing out all the various bits and pieces, you can help yourself to a cup of coffee. But before that, anybody like to say anything? Get a bit of go.
Sorry, can you go back 2 slides so I can just get the time?
That one?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, 70. It will be it will be in your instructions, but don't let that stop you writing it down. Because you'll have to explain it to everybody else there who's saying, no, look at you writing that down. But they'll all be coming back to your answer.
We're set up.
Oh, they said that you're very confident team here. Very confident. Any other questions?
And what's the prize?
All I would say, I gotta say this, the company, no expense has been spared. That's all I'm saying. Any other questions? Any other or comments? Okay. Well, I wish you best of luck. I'll be coming around after, but I think can we help yourselves to teas and coffees and biscuits. And thank you very much as well.